cramped stone cellar beneath a 16th century French chateau, the air hangs heavy with incense and dried herbs. The flicker of candlelight dances across the pages of an enormous leather-bound book, its ink still drying, its author still muttering. Michel de Nostradamus, now known to the world as Nostradamus, dips his quill and writes by the hour, translating visions into verses. Outside, plague creeps through Europe. Nations teeter on the edge of collapse. But here, in the glow of secrecy, Nostradamus bends time. He claims to see centuries into the future, into a world of steel and fire, of towers collapsing and skies filled with strange machines. In Les Prophecies, the collection of cryptic four-line verses known as quatrains, Nostradamus encrypts his visions. Some speak of great fires and falling kings. Others are vague, deliberately so. But buried among them are verses that many believe speak not just to the 16th century or the wars of Napoleon, but to us, to now. The first edition of Les Prophéties was published in 1555. Within it were 353 quatrains. Later editions contained up to 942. The structure was loose, the language a mixture of Old French, Latin, Greek, and invented code. Yet readers across the ages have returned to its pages, parsing them for clues. What makes Nostradamus different from ordinary astrologers of his time is the sheer scale of his predictions. Centuries ahead, he claimed. Some of his most famous quatrains are believed to predict the Great Fire of London in 1666, the rise of Napoleon and Hitler, and even the September 11 attacks. But while many of these verses have been dissected endlessly, others, less dramatic, more obscure, have quietly slipped into the margins. These forgotten quatrains, long ignored, seem to point specifically to events unfolding in the 21st century. Earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth will cause tremors around the new city. Two great rocks will war for a long time. Then, Arethusa will color a new river red. This passage is often linked to New York, the new city, and the terror attacks of September 11, 2001. The earth-shaking fire evokes images of explosions and two great rocks, perhaps a reference to the Twin Towers. Yet, Arethusa and the new River Red remain unsolved. Some believe this refers to the decades-long political aftershocks, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and a metaphorical river of blood flowing from them. Others interpret the iron serpents mentioned in surrounding verses as railway lines, oil pipelines, or even digital networks, suggesting a deeper war of technology that would only begin with 9/11. A lesser-known quatrain, 253, reads, "The great plague of the maritime city will not stop until there is avenged the death of the just blood, condemned for no crime, of the great lady, outraged by pretense." During the early months of 2020, as COVID-19 spread across the world, many turned to this passage. The maritime city was interpreted as Wuhan, with its large river port and role in global trade. The Great Plague was seen as a reference to the virus itself. Some researchers proposed that the Great Lady outraged by pretense symbolized freedom, or even democratic order, struggling under lockdowns and misinformation. Though speculative, the eeriness of the language revived old debates. Were Nostradamus's words metaphor, coincidence, or prophecy? Nostradamus never saw a smartphone, but quatrain 314 intrigues modern readers. From the deepest parts of Western lands will come voices without bodies. Shadows will grow larger than the men who cast them, and kings will be made of invisible coin. Many believe this speaks to the rise of digital technology. Voices without bodies echo the phenomenon of influencers, AI, and algorithmic content, shaping public thought without physical presence. Shadows larger than men hint at the digital avatars, brands, and online personas that overshadow their creators. Kings of invisible coin, a particularly timely phrase, has been interpreted as a cryptic reference to cryptocurrency and the rise of decentralized finance. Bitcoin and Ethereum have already reshaped global economics, elevating previously unknown figures to power, all outside the traditional financial system. Quatrain 898 reads, "At the 48th degree, fire and drought shall swallow the harvest. The sky will burn at 45, and ice will no longer heed the pole." Many connect this to global climate change. The latitude mentioned, between 45 and 48 degrees, crosses regions like Canada, Central Europe, and Northern China. Fire and drought eerily parallel wildfires in California, Australia, and the Amazon. The line, "ice will no longer heed the pole," has been used to describe the melting polar caps and collapsing glaciers. Though poetic, the imagery resonates strongly with our time. Could Nostradamus, using the limited knowledge of his era, have glimpsed the planet in flux? In quatrain 6.6, Nostradamus writes, "In the realm of the great numbers shall be born one without a soul. Its words will guide armies and judges, and its wisdom shall be cold as ice." This obscure passage gained new attention in recent years with the rise of artificial intelligence. Born of great numbers might refer to computing, binary digits, and vast data sets. The one without a soul evokes machines that can mimic thought, but lack emotion or human experience. The notion of AI influencing armies and judges is no longer fiction. Autonomous drones, predictive policing, algorithmic sentencing, these are real debates shaping our world. Nostradamus may have envisioned a future where intellect is synthetic and decisions are driven by machine logic. Among the most debated quatrains is 8.15. "The tyrant shall rise in the lands of the crescent. From sand to marble he will ascend. The eagle will be wounded in its nest, and the lion will sleep under broken columns." Here the crescent is often read as a reference to the Islamic world. The eagle may symbolize the United States, while the lion is Britain or perhaps Europe. The imagery suggests upheaval, tyranny rising, Western powers in retreat or decline. Whether tied to terrorism, global power shifts, or ideological confrontations, this verse has been mapped onto post-9/11 geopolitics, the Arab Spring, and more. It carries the weight of warning, especially when interpreted against modern political volatility. Nostradamus divided his prophecies into centuries, not by time, but by groups of 100 quatrains. Century VIII is regarded by some as holding special significance for the modern age. Within it, themes of fire, false peace, celestial alignments, and sudden deaths appear frequently. Quatrain 8.77 reads, "The Antichrist very soon annihilates the three. 27 years his war will last. The unbelievers are dead, captive, exiled, with blood, human bodies, water, and red hail covering the earth." Though dramatized, This verse has been interpreted as a vision of long-term global war, perhaps ideological or technological. Red hail could mean chemical weapons, bioagents, or even satellite warfare. Some researchers have pointed to 2027 as a key turning point, based on astrological alignments Nostradamus himself may have used. Throughout history, rumors have circulated that the Vatican, perhaps the most powerful archive of forbidden knowledge in Europe, possesses prophecies from Nostradamus that were never published. Supposedly, these writings were deemed too dangerous or destabilizing for the public. In 1994, an alleged lost book attributed to Nostradamus surfaced in Rome. Containing 80 mysterious illustrations and unpublished texts, the Vaticania Nostradamus quickly ignited conspiracy theories. Though dismissed by most scholars, others insist it was smuggled from secret archives and that its symbols predict world-changing events between 2020 and 2036. Whether authentic or not, the idea that some of Nostradamus's visions were hidden adds another layer to the mythos, one in which the future itself is locked behind closed doors. Though centuries have passed since he scribbled by candlelight, Nostradamus remains a cultural riddle. Was he a prophet? A clever poet? A man whose cryptic writing style allowed generations to find themselves in his words? What is clear is this: his verses endure. They are studied not only by mystics, but by historians, journalists, even intelligence agencies. Not because they offer certainty, but because they whisper possibility. In a world as turbulent and unpredictable as ours, Nostradamus feels less like an oracle and more like a mirror, one that reflects our hopes, fears, and the ever-shifting shape of time itself. From plagues to politics, from data to doomsday, the quatrains of Nostradamus echo still. Were they cryptic riddles meant to inspire? Warnings from a man who saw too much? Or simply poetry with uncanny timing? The 21st century is still unfolding, and many of Nostradamus's forgotten lines may yet find their meaning. You've just explored another mystery with JB Animated Mysteries. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And turn on notifications so you never miss a story where facts and fiction collide. Until next time, the truth is out there. Keep looking.